Live now. We should be live. We should be live. It's not live. Oh,
Yeah, it's connected now.
it's connected.
At least on my TV, it's connected.
There we go. Just check. It's been a few weeks. So yeah, it says we're live. So welcome to not midweek gaming. Welcome back to a gaming conversation with friends. It's been a few weeks because I've been focusing on my pest control course, which was every Tuesday and Wednesday, apart from last week, which was Wednesday. So I couldn't stay up late and be doing podcasting. But yeah, I'm all through that now. Just a case of waiting for the exam results, and hopefully qualifications. So hopefully I've passed. But if I don't, I can always resit certain modules. It's not the end of the world, but God, I hate waiting. Do you know what I mean? It's annoying. But how are we all?
Who's that going to? Is that going to Mr. VJ?
It's either.
Oh, I'll let Mr. VJ because he's the quietest one out of all of us. And I'll just keep talking for about 64 minutes.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Nice to be back on the show. And sorry, you caught me. I was off somewhere else.
Exactly, that's why I did it.
I was just leaning back and thinking, right, removable's going. I got a 5-minute break.
5-minute break, yeah.
But I was about to sip my tea and all that. But yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks for having me back on the show. And yeah, looking forward to the topics, which I have no clue as to what they are.
It's all about Gear 6, apparently.
Well, that was actually mentioned when I was on the phone to VJ earlier. He mentioned not about the awards, just to mention the shows on this week, and we could have a little talk about the Game Awards show as well. But that'd be nice to have a talk about. We've got a few topics we have. The PC,
which we'll never get through.
Well, we should be able to get through. I've uploaded the trailers for them anyway, so hopefully we do. But then again, do that most shows, don't we? We do.
I promise to keep my responses short and sweet today. How about that? So we get through as much as possible.
No, you're fine.
I refuse to do so.
You're fine. Right. So just gonna get on. Sir, how are you doing, Removable Sanity? Anyway, got to ask you that.
Well, I've just got a bit of a weird one. I just got over surgery and walked straight into a flu.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Yeah, it is always the case with me. And the moment I start to rest, the moment I relax is when I get ill. I always have done. So, excuse for a second if I kind of have a little bit of cough here and there. I'm kind of getting over the last of a remnant of a flu. No, it's the moment I ever relax. If I have holiday, I'm ill. It's my body is not attuned to relaxing and not doing stuff.
Fair enough.
It's just the moment I do, and it's always the same time. It's always about Christmas time because Christmas time is when I take holiday to be with the family, and then I'm basically ill.
Yeah, fair enough.
As long as I'm not in hospital like I was last year, I'm fine. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be. That's where most disease and infections spread. Oh, in hospitals.
Well, they said to me I had 3 of the worst cases. The reason I got thrown in there was basically I got COVID. Then a week later, I got pneumonia. Then I got a blood virus a week after that. So I had 3 of the worst case illnesses week after week after week. And it kicked my immune system to the point where it was dangerous, they're saying. They said any one of those would have kicked your immune system to be a dangerous level. But he said you were all 3 of the worst ones week after week after week. And that's why you're in the hospital. So it's literally about a day before New Year's Eve. I was in hospital. It's like, great. But on the bright side, the doctor said, it took 3 of the worst case, illnesses to bring you here. So clearly your immune system is pretty good if it took 3 things week after week after week to try and get you here. So take that as what it is, really. But yeah, no, just a slight, excuse me, slight cough, and a little bit of a flu, but that's it. I'm back. I'm getting back there. I'm getting some reviews out now and getting back to action again.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, 3 of the. Well, yeah, that's, you can't get any worse luck than that, can you?
Well, that's what the
really.
doctor said.
Yeah.
The doctor said, he said any one of those would have put you into hospital. He said to have one after succession, he said you were basically, the first one knocked your immune system, then the second one took even more immune system off you, and then the third one kind of just like a blood virus. That was the third one that really kicked you for 6. He said, any one of those could have put you in here, but it is what it is. As I said, it's just my body reacts pretty. The moment it relaxes, it kind of stops fighting. I think that's what it is. I need to keep active, moving, thinking, doing. Otherwise, I just, wither.
That's fair enough. Welcome, Masuku, back to the chat. Are we sounding good? You're normally a good judge of if you can hear us all usually. But yeah. So the first thing I wanted to mention on is something we have discussed heavily in the past, whether it be on this particular show or the old midweek gaming, and it's to do with the digital future. Is it so good? Because there's obviously pros and cons, and recently there's been
cons more than pros.
I know, exactly. If you read into the actual details of the actual terms, you'll find there's more cons than anything. But recently there's been an email circulating to PlayStation users telling them that all content on the Discovery streaming service will be removed from the removed on. I have to read it differently because they word things. It's like American. So I'll say it the English way. Will be removed on the 31st December 2023, and even basically the content that's been purchased directly by the users will also be removed. Now, yes, it's called shameful. A lot of people say it's shameful, but it's not actually PlayStation's fault. It's just the way the world works. It's licensing.
It may be shameful, but it's I think the issue isn't come with the fact that it's being removed. It's the fact it's being removed with no refund. So what was originally, and again, it's not many people look into the terms and conditions. When people buy, and they did this actually last year with films. So actually, this year they did, I think it's this streaming service, and the other year there's actually films. They actually took off as well, a large number of films.
Okay.
So this is series based. I think this latest one is the series based app that has lots of TV series that's now being removed. Last year was actually a load of films that was removed. And again, nothing was refunded. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but the same for Microsoft as well as Xbox is that if it's discontinued, regardless of licensing issues or regardless of, further down the line, they've lost the license or the ability to, even like it's the sound they've lost the license to, not the actual film work, they have to remove it. The problem being, at no point is there a big warning sign when you purchase from these streaming services like Sony, like Netflix, like anything like that, is that if you buy this at any point, we can remove it and not refund you. And that's the thing. I think most people have assumed that once they've bought it, they own it, period. And that is not the case.
No, definitely
the only way you can guarantee you physically own it
disc
is with a disc.
But even then, if they really wanted to go to some real extreme lengths, if your device was connected to the net, they could send some kind of code out so your disc don't work.
Technically, but then you just basically, one thing is that you just don't connect it to the internet.
I don't think they do that, though.
There are games that are actually discontinued as we speak. There is commercial Xbox games that have been discontinued. You cannot purchase them anymore. That people who still own the discs can still play them. and that is one aspect of being physical. The problem being with digital purchases, I think it's just you have to be fully aware that a digital purchase is effectively renting. Now, that could be renting for 100 years, it could be renting for 44 years, it could be renting for 2 or 3 years. But at any stage, it can be pulled, and you will not have the access to that. And then it also comes into play, I think, which we have discussed, is how your gaming library, your digital library, I should say, gets transferred to your siblings or your family members should you pass on. Inheritance aspect. That is another aspect which very few people talk about. One that's going to bite a lot of people in the backside. If I have a physical collection, I can pass that to my kids and say, this is for you. There you go. I want you to enjoy it. With a digital, they can simply say, no, actually, once you pass on, that is it. It's gone.
So
it's another. There's a couple of aspects.
Indie gamers saying, with regard, welcome indie gamer.
No, same with again, games only. If games on an online service, yeah. If they've got an online service, yes, they can. But no, most games don't have an online service. Like your first person, your multiplayer games, possibly. But your single player, they're not going to be able to pull the game because it's actually part and parcel of the disc. That's if it was an online service game, yes, 100%, you are completely correct. But majority of those games, majority of games aren't online service. They're becoming that way, which is another crux, which I think we should pull back away from. But your Assassin's Creed, your multiplayer might be dead, but your single player will still be able to be utilized and enjoyed. And this is the crux of online gaming. It is, if it is part and parcel of a built-in flaw. It's a built-in obsolescence, which most things are now becoming, to be honest with you.
It's a shame.
It's one of those ones I think is going to bite people hardest.
It will, because
when they realise they wish to pass things on, or something's gone.
It's like my missus. I've made her fully aware that if Amazon ever was to pull the plug, or a certain artist or the publisher within books has gone bust, basically she got the Audible, and she's got, I'm talking hundreds of audiobooks.
Oh yeah,
probably in hundreds.
30 seconds, bam.
But yeah, I did explain it to her, but just the way it is. But the problem is, though, it's like when you look back at it, right? Can you say to somebody, for instance, so you got Sega Dreamcast, which is fine. You can play all the games, still play them with the disc. Well, Dreamcast and that, they've got their own versions of hard drives you can install now, because some of the game prices are ridiculous, like £500, some of them. So that's good. You'll be able to play them games in years to come. When it comes to the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, will somebody in 10-15 years time be able to pick that back up when it's obsoleted? All them servers have been pulled down. Will they be able to play the retro games when that's a perspective?
It depends on the game. If it's a non-live service game, no. If it's a live service game, yes. If it has a connection to the internet that needs it to run, yes, there'll be an issue.
Yeah.
Just because it may not happen doesn't mean it won't happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's a very simple thing. A lot of games that were like, oh, this is going to be perfect. You see how studios close down, how studios lose their licenses, how studios, break apart. Even now, how quickly things can turn around. Old studios that are around 20 odd years ago that you thought they would never have a problem, never close down, are gone now. And those licenses, if they're not kept or if they're not, maintained, will go as well. It's a case of, I don't think it's a case of if it will happen. It'll be a case of when it will happen.
Exactly. It is quite a big issue, but obviously people.
As I said, it won't hit anybody until something they really enjoy goes that way,
Yeah,
and then it'll be basic. Then it'll be a big kicker. I think the biggest kicker will probably be for us old guys. Will be when we want to pass our games on to our next generation. I want to pass our inheritance of our collections on to our younger generation. And the digital accesses, I don't think we'll be able to do that. Physical items will be. As one of the things I did jokingly tweet was like, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I said those are the times to buy all your digital games physically, because at least then you can you've got a copy of it.
yeah. Sorry about indie game. I think what was happening was I have a USB stick for my controller, and I think for some reason it was wiggling in and out, and yeah, it's stopped now. So I didn't realise you could hear that. Sorry about that, Indy. But yeah, I fixed it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I won't really want to hand my games down to my son, because currently all he plays is the likes of Fortnite and Roblox. He's not interested in my games. But
that will change in 20 odd years' time when he gets older.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know if his taste will be. And also, there's another aspect to it. You forget there's always a infamous story that kind of slightly chokes me up, and it is true. Is the story of Sega Rally, and a gentleman had one of his favorite games was Sega Rally. He'd been playing it for years and years and years. He used to play it.
I know this story.
All the
it's
time.
sad. It is.
Yep. He passed away, and his son inherited the Sega Rally. Didn't think about it until many years later, when he was an adult, started playing Sega Rally, just as picked it up, and realised the ghost of his dead father was in that game. And he got to a point where he basically could beat the actual ghost, but refused to. It was something that was dear to him and kept him close to his father, even though his father passed away. And it's the same thing. Just because your collection may not be what they see now, it could very well be part and parcel of their history and of their memory later on.
Exactly. Tell you what, you say Sega Rally, and UK
Lazarus
arrives.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, most
people have heard the Sega Rally, Sega Rally ghost story. Anyway, it's a kind of a touching tale that is still pertinent even today. It's it shows you, how games can connect us even through death. How games can connect us to our loved ones, and I think our collections will become our the things that our loved ones behind us will want to treasure and cherish and enjoy. They'll want to see us, how far we've got, or see the fact that remember us through them. And so it's going to be pertinent. I think it's going to be a big shocker when it does happen. I think that's when a lot of people will start kicking off. At the moment, it's the memory line. No one really thinks about it until it's further down the line. No one's going to worry about it. But by then it'll be too late. And that's where I think it's going to be an issue.
Well, it's true, because even like the only way you'll get anything done about passing content over is government regulation, because there's no way developers are gonna say, yeah, just pass it down, transfer licenses, no issues. There's no way that's gonna happen unless it's forced.
Well, it's the same thing with emulation and game preserve. There's been one of the biggest issues with emulation and game preserving is the fact of licensing issues. Trying to preserve games that no longer exist anymore is one of the biggest issues, is licensing. So physical media does kind of get around that aspect. When it becomes digital, then it becomes such a hard task to kind of regulate, and hard task to kind of continue well. And I just think it's a poison chalice that we're kind of ignoring to our own detriment later on in life.
It will be eventually, but then by that point it'll be like they'll be scrambling to try and sort it, and it's not a simple process. This kind of thing will take years to sort out. It's not a simple process. It's not, because you basically you own a digital license to a game and that's it. You read it
You're
all.
renting.
That's it.
It's
Well, you're
a rent.
renting.
You're
basically.
renting.
Even if you buy it at 70 quid, technically you're still renting it. It's no better than Game Pass.
And it's not as if it's not as if this hasn't happened before. There's been numerous games that this has happened to, where the licensing has discontinued. And
Forza's infamous for that.
Game.
Well, once the music licensing runs out on the Forza games, they give them away and discount the DLC, and then the game's done with. You can't play it no more.
Yeah,
Horizon, I think, but that's the way. You're not going to renew, and you're not going to be that stupid to renew all the music for the game for like an old game. Yeah, it's just not financially viable for you to do that, and I don't blame companies for doing that. You're not going to renew it, are you, to keep it forever for people? I wouldn't expect even Microsoft to do that.
It's that's why I feel sorry for PlayStation, because they're hitting it in the case, but it's this is gonna continue.
Very true, indie gamer. Very true.
Films.
The discs are just the license key, and you download them. Yeah, that's what you true. It is. But some of the discs, the PlayStation discs, actually have the data on them. I think God of War. I think games like that actually have the data on them.
I think if the last license one, the last physical I had did have data on it. It did actually do that.
I don't think Halo, the Halo one they made, did just a key. It was download. But most of them are just license keys now, literally just because somebody wants to have a disc. That's all it is, and it's the way it's going. There's little you can do about it.
Well, you can tell whether or not it's a licensing issue. It's basically when you do take the disc, make sure you're not connected to the internet. If it basically transfers it across, it's fine.
The best digital.
I think majority of them still you can do that. I'm pretty sure I've had it where you can actually do it. It's more the AAA ones, but I'm pretty sure like the AA ones are still games you actually download from the disc.
Oh, I've just been corrected by Gisno. Cheers for that. He said that you can still play the old fours as if you own them. You just can't buy them new. Sorry about that. Thanks for the correction. You got any thoughts on this, VJ? Probably haven't. You got any thoughts on it?
I mean, I think you covered most of it. It just, there's obviously a set of consumers that are affected by it, and they're probably annoyed, if not, slightly perturbed by it. But I suppose it'll be interesting how their buying preferences or thought process will be going forward. You'd think. I mean, I don't really read the terms and conditions. I don't know if anybody here on the panel in the chat does, but
I can believe Removable Sanity does. I can believe he reads it. I can. If you know him well, you realise he does read stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, for the vast majority, that just want to
click.
That have limited amount of time, they want to be able to play the game and get on with it, and then move on. But it's I mean, I'd like to say from Sony's perspective, they've partnered with who I've forgotten the company, and like they do with any third-party publisher. And if they sell anything on their store, it should be in perpetuity, regardless of the fact if it's going to be removed in the future. But if, as Removable's saying, forgive me if I've got this wrong, but if in the terms and conditions from B2B and B2C maintains the fact that you don't own this content and it can be removed at any time, then there's little or no recourse for consumers. But I think you're only going to get away with that business practice to a point, especially in the UK, until watchdogs turn around and say, listen, this is no longer protecting consumers or their rights. And it's just a point in time when there's enough consumers that are affected by it, and you've got the proverbial, the straw that breaks the camel's back, and certain protections need to be placed within the digital media. When you acquire digital media, whether as a consumer or anything, right? I guess movies, games, music, etc. Then you know there may come a point, like you say, was it Call of Duty? Was it one of the games that there was hardly any data on it at all, and then the rest of the game had to be downloaded 120 gig or
think so,
something?
yeah.
And so discs potentially aren't worth the $70 that you pay for them. You're still in that hole. You still have to be online. You still have to own the system, and etc. And then download the game again in case you have to replace your Xbox one day because for whatever reason it's not working. So it's not a good look. But I think that for Sony and for Microsoft or any company really, I know we primarily talk about those guys. How they negotiate their contracts going forward is really, really important, because this is not good. This is not a good practice for consumer point of view. But and as you say, they're not even offering store credit for consumers that are affected, or even a token gesture, which I thought might have been smart because they may have actually sold some additional gaming content to those consumers affected, by giving them $5, $10, I don't know what the cost of this content was.
Here's
You
some
get my
credit.
point,
You're
right?
gonna spend it
But give them
in-house,
some
but here's some
credit,
credit.
but at the same time earn some more revenue and customer loyalty while turning a profit at the same time. But I don't know if their infrastructure set up like that. But for Sony, it's recently, over the last 12 months, and I understand this is they're prevalent in the way that they conduct their business, but they don't seem to want to give something to consumers as a something, I don't know, let's call it goodwill, shall we? And at the same time, Microsoft, on the other hand, I've noticed over the last month, especially, their rewards program is rescinding points and access to points
it is
quite considerably.
And I've noticed
and we
that.
knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen at some point. This switch and bait and switch, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I've noticed the points. A lot of the points now, apart from your quiz,
they're
they're like ones
disappearing.
and they're like ones and twos, not tens. They're ones and twos. They are.
But for somebody who's got, I mean, I've got a 620-day streak or something like that, right? So I've been at it for 2 years. I haven't missed a beat, and so I know roughly each month, just at a point of interest. It's not material amounts, right? But where I was able to sort of gain something in the region of $20 a month, for example, it slowly but surely, I think last month I was barely able to get over $16. It's still a good amount, but it barely covers the cost of Game Pass. So, but I think that we're going to see more and more changes from Microsoft, and even the searches they've
made it harder. You've actually got to physically type it in.
And then you got to wait 5 seconds prior to doing another search, etc.
Yeah, you have.
So I understand why they're doing it, because they don't want people just to spam the hell out of searches just to earn
That's
points,
literally what I was doing. It takes me longer now to do them.
So,
which is good, because let's face it, it's cutting down on that aspect. But let's not be in any. Oh, sorry, VJ.
Sorry, just just in terms of offering something back to consumers, sometimes I think that the companies, I'm not saying in all cases, but sometimes it's just worth considering the decision you make when it's consumer facing, regardless of the fact in case it's something detrimental, because you can sometimes be penny wise and pound foolish. And in this instance, I think Sony might have missed a trick in terms of turning this into a positive rather than it being a negative.
I think I agree with VJ here.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
It's just a sentiment, really. It's not like, oh, they must have done this, they should have done that. I mean, that's all just rubbish. It's just the sentiment.
When it comes to the Microsoft Awards, I fully agree with what you say, VJ. But I will mention, because a lot of people say I don't criticise PlayStation. PlayStation's point system is a joke. You have to be in their PlayStation Plus. You have to buy certain games to get points. Then you literally win a picture on an app. It's pathetic compared to Microsoft's. There you go. Just thought I'd put that in. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I just is that I just saw what UK Dazarus wrote in the chat. I'm not too familiar with that, but that
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
can do.
basically,
Yeah.
if you have multiple accounts, it kind of they will limit
It's
it
not
to
really
only one
fair though,
account.
because Dad has got kids in his house and they all got separate Xbox accounts. They're not doing anything wrong. It's a bit fair. He's been suspended. So if you've got a gaming family all spending money into the Microsoft ecosystem, they should
Yeah.
all be allowed to use
Exactly.
Microsoft rewards. That's I don't. Yeah, that's wrong. That's what happened to you. Yeah, it's not right. If you're all in the ecosystem, you all deal different systems. That's not right. That must have been recent. That must have been a recent change without letting people know.
Well, I think it's you know where it is. It's come from the premise of Netflix. So if you are aware of Netflix, they effectively are trying to provide you with a an account, a paid account per is it per household, not per person. And so one of the reasons they got they stopped the share your password element with Netflix was that the IP tracks the household, not
That's
the
right.
person.
I had that
So
problem here. Yep.
basically what it is now is I think Microsoft has cottoned on to a similar sort of thing, and they're now tracking the household and not the person. But as everyone has rightly said here, if there are 4 people paying, technically 4 individuals paying differently, then there shouldn't be really a limit on those 4 individual accounts, regardless of the household they are in. But I think they've gone down the household route. How
Remember,
Microsoft deals with this further down the line is going to be telling.
imagine if Microsoft put in a policy saying, "We've noticed that on this IP address, there's also a PS5 tethered to your IP address, so we're no longer allowing you to access your content."
Well, hang on. We're going to about IP addresses, so I'm going to put my bit forward now. I've had a problem ever since I moved to superfast fibre, which uses different internet infrastructure. You know, the routers. Since I moved from a Sky internet, which was the old crap copper internet, which uses the Open Reach network, and now I use a network called the Up, which was recently been acquired by Virgin
Eon.
Media and O2, called the Next
is it?
Fibre. So I'm not very happy about it, but what can you do? They made them sell it because an oligog owned it up.
Yes.
So apparently, once my contract runs out, you can't even renew it with Up. You have to renew with Next Fibre, or I've got another option of GigaClear. Well, since I've had this new internet, you know the lovely Microsoft Rewards app on the Xbox, it doesn't work at all. It says, even though I've tested my IP addresses, it says where I'm living, the location's correct, everything on my phone, done all that tests. I've been through multiple support people at Microsoft, and they can't work it out. The $2 trillion company can't fix a problem like that. And they ain't the only one. It's widespread. It's all. I've seen multiple cases. Well, there's a lot of cases all over Reddit. And I did get an answer once. One of the guys that messaged me back reckoned it was a problem with the actual app on the Xbox. There was an internal bug they needed to fix. But it's still. But what I have to do to get the app working, I have to sign into my mobile internet, tether it to the Xbox to get it working again. It's a bit frustrating to do that. It is, but
well, that sounds, as you said, it's like a software, as the guy was saying, is a software.
I'll tell you, all Microsoft need to do now is remove, just to piss everybody off, and they just need to remove the 3 months and the monthly Game Pass from Microsoft Rewards, and it's coming. That will be their next stage, because they've been looking at who's actually paying for Game Pass. Oh, that's a lot of people. We could be making X amount of million. It's coming eventually. It's coming. Because everyone knows what it's about, don't you? Microsoft Reward. Reason,
Sorry.
Microsoft Rewards.
You
I'll
two
just
just keep talking over each other. Okay,
Sorry, it's the purpose of
calm it down.
Microsoft
Calm it down.
Rewards with searching. It's to make Bing look like it's actually a popular search engine when it's actually not. They're paying people to search, and that's what it's made. Because obviously Google's number one, but when that's what they're effectively paying people to do. The only reason I've been able to keep my points up on my Microsoft Rewards, an indie game like this, is because if you pay a multiplayer game once a day, with all the points etc., and play a game on PC and stuff, I can still get 275 points a day just through doing that on PC, and that's how I've been keeping my points up. But because they like you to play on the Xbox PC, we do. Sorry, VJ, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I think I just saw the comment from Indy that they're not a charity, and I agree that corporations are not charities. It was inevitable that something like this was going to happen, and I don't know if it's true, but I caught a headline. Maybe Removable yourself know better than me that they tried to remove from their 10 or 15,000 employees the perk that they afforded all their staff in terms of free Game Pass Ultimate, which they tried to remove
Perk of the job.
got reinstated due to the disbelief and unpopularity of the decision. And it's not a case that, yes, of course, us three on the actual podcast as hosts and panel members, we are actually charity cases. But it's just it's just pointing out the changes that are occurring within the Microsoft ecosystem. We're not complaining about them. So I think there's a differentiator there that needs to be sort of stipulated.
I think I understand what Indy's saying in terms of that we're not a charity. I think you're right, we're not a charity, but think of this as a benefit of Xbox. And so what we're seeing now, and this is not Xbox in its tails, but this is PlayStation. And don't think Nintendo is going down the path here, but it's definitely PlayStation, Xbox, and some services. They're paring back those benefits. They're trying to basically, from what I'm sounding, there's a lot of redundancies been happening. There's a lot of changes coming through, and they're tightening their belts is the best way I can describe it. And this is for their services as well as their staff and redundancies. That isn't to say that when things start getting better, these benefits may not come back. But I suspect they probably will, because the service itself. The service itself is only as good as its competition. So if PlayStation starts providing better services, they will then bring it back. And the same thing at the moment, most of the big companies are tightening their belts, and this is one of those things. I suspect that's happening. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll expand later on down the line when things are getting good. Maybe. That's going to be a battle between the two big ones again. I think again, Nintendo is its own ecosystem that kind of does its own thing and doesn't really care about what anyone else thinks, so it doesn't have to really worry about it. But I think Sony and Microsoft, and their own versions of the reward systems and their own version of of the benefits that they each provide, that's going to be a continuous battle for the next 10 years. And so, whilst I understand it's going to probably be reduced or even discontinued at some point, the future may very well dictate to them to bring something like that or something similar back again.
I think it's in terms of, Removable, when I bought my Xbox back in 2020, at that point, Microsoft were affording everybody these points. And do you remember like earn 10,000 points in within the next 30 days by playing all these games?
Yes, I do.
But I think at that point they were trying to gain market share, and ever since then, slowly but surely, they've been reeling in, and like you say, they perhaps might rescind the rewards program completely, based on the fact, or minimize it, but based on the fact that the services that they're affording and the content that they're affording us in the subscription in their subscription services no longer merits them having to reel consumers in because they've already established a loyal customer base. And I think you're right. As long as it depends on two things, like you said, is either if their competitors do anything to up the ante, or whether their own offerings start to not support what it is that they're trying to do in terms of quality, and then which I don't see happening. There's far too much first party and third party content for them to leverage, and hence the pricing going up for Game Pass and rewards points being rescinded. But as I say, for me at least, I'm a charity case, so I'm monitoring what's occurring.
I think, to be honest with you, for me, being poor, and for the poor side of everybody, I think for those with limited funds, it was a good way of experiencing games and purchasing games for people to enjoy with low income. It was a really good way and a really helpful way for the low income families to kind of expand their catalogue, especially when it came in Christmas. I knew so many who were in the reward system for that very thing. They were saving up till Christmas, and then they could purchase that £60 game that was, coming through. They could actually purchase it. They didn't have the money at any other point, and they'd been working their backsides off, and they'd finally managed to get enough points to kind of do that. And so I think, again, it's going to be the hardest hit will be those with low income. But again, it's one of the things. It was a timed benefit.
They're not struggling though, because all this business at PlayStation and gaming revenue's bigger. Well, what people don't realise is Microsoft's out of the three console makers, Microsoft is the number one now out of the three big three, because ABK's gaming revenue will be added to that, and it will dwarf PlayStation's, taking it to number one. They ain't struggling. Just need to
it's not the struggling aspect. It's, at the end of the day, it's you're gonna have to look at it from as we have stated on this show too many times to count. Microsoft, PlayStation, Nintendo is a business.
It's not a charity. I understand that.
Product to us, and how they sell that product to us will be manipulated, tweaked, and pushed down the line in such a variety of ways we have yet to see. Will it become an all only digital only aspect? I mean, Microsoft has made itself it's basically touted itself as having a streaming service on every single platform in the world. That's TV, phone, internet. Where there's a monitor, it wants to be on there. And that's what they're aiming to be. It's a dream. It will eventually happen.
It's a good dream.
It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's a dream now. I think it's not, the fact that look at his Samsung TV. My Samsung TV has the Xbox app on it.
There's just one little detail I will say. Although Phil Spencer has came out, we're not looking to go on Nintendo. We're not looking to go on PlayStation. Guaranteed they have been, and they've been rejected. So technically, they're not on every system, every platform.
Not yet, but it will happen. It will happen.
I believe it will one day. I believe there'll be one day all services will be on all devices, and you'll get the PlayStation services on Xbox. Eventually, it will all happen. It will merge into one. It will eventually. They'll get there eventually, because the money is in games.
Yeah. It is exactly. It is. And at the end of the day, it's the way of the world. It's the way of the future, and it's something that we're just going to have to deal with. The question is, the power is with the consumer.
But one thing I will say
is the consumer is
when it comes
the consumer's a bit, lazy.
When it comes to stores and digital, stores, I will say that Steam seems to be the best. The best. They've got great policies, refund policies. They they can lead by example. Xbox should copy them in some of their great policies they've got. They have just saying.
To be honest, it doesn't matter because they're going to go with their own personal preference, something that will benefit them in every case. I mean, look at how society is changing. Perfect example, I saw it on Twitter or X or Twix as it's now known. Children today are spending. Perfect example is my own brother's kids. They want V-Bucks for Fortnite. That's what they're into. They're not interested in a different game. They're just after digital content
my
for the
kids,
game they like.
My kids are the same. Robux.
Yeah, and it's so you can already see it from the younger generation what's going to transpire.
I keep trying to tell them you're supposed to earn this in the game and it's supposed to unlock. No, you're supposed to buy it. I was like, I've given up just about. They're being conditioned to think that it's not something you earn in game. It's something you buy. That's the problem. But,
see, this is where I've with my little ones, I'm going down the retro emulation route.
But yeah, they love when I turn the Mega Drive on. They love Sonic and games like that. They do like that, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got. I've got two little retro handout emulators, which I'm giving to the kids, and they love it. I absolutely love that little thing. It's got 1,000 games on it. They can play whatever they blooming well want, and you can't buy anything. It's not online. It saves you progress. Sonic being one of them exactly. It's perfect. I'm trying to limit their online activity at all costs until they're old enough to kind of.
That's fair enough. Right.
Yeah, we should try and wrap that up.
Just wrap that up. So I don't know. Did any of you catch any of the clips of the PC Gaming Most Wanted 2023 show? You might not have done. Did you see any games you liked it or at all?
There was a couple on there. I was trying to remind myself because I watched it. I caught it. I watched the VOD of it. But it's one of those things. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. Watch this.
There's a game that looks really good.
I fell asleep.
Hang on a minute. Where is it? Indie Gamer will be happy with this. Give me a sec. I'll just change the video. Where are you on the list? Where's it gone? Still wait. And I forgot to download that one. Where is it? Where's Still Wakes the Deep?
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. Yes, that was the very first one, wasn't it?
Hang on. I've missed. Still Wakes the Deep. I meant to download that. I didn't download it.
You did.
Bloody forgot to download that one. Hang on. Did I download that one? I've got the old trailer, so I'll put that up.
We'll just break the old trailer on it. Still no, isn't it?
Still Wakes the Deep. I've got that many videos on it. Hang on.
But yeah, that was quite intriguing to me. That was actually I quite enjoyed that one. Actually, there was a lot of good games on there that were showcased off. There, I know admittedly, a good chunk of them will be PC only.
Here it is.
Or
not
other
not the correct trailer.
It was a really good selection, I found.
Still Wakes the Deep. Still Wakes the Deep. The Chinese is made by the Chinese Room. This spooky oil rig, a psychological horror game, announced that it's working with composer Jason Graves, who is known for a number of games, including Dead Space and the Dark Pictures anthology. They also introduced a ridiculously spooky-looking metal sculpture that created terrifying noises from the soundtrack. Which I don't have the actual trailer here because I've.
What they did a variety. Yes, you're right. They did a variety of little sculptures, and as you scraped like a something against it, it created very weird and strange noises, and that's what they utilised. It was very pretty. This looks pretty good, I must admit.
A lot of people like look at this. It looks very. I believe you by yourself, but it looks very scary. It, yeah. I've not got loads. There's another game that I have got the trailer for. I will just get what it is. Hang on a minute. It's called Pacific Drive.
Yes, know that one very well. I know that one very well. Yep, that is a PC only. I think it's PC, or is it PC and PlayStation? Yeah, that's an intriguing one.
You got to keep the car alive. You have. I'll just change the trailer.
Well, it's Pacific. You basically have to keep yourself. Yeah.
There you go. There's the trailer. I'll just find the. Ironwood Studios. This is released the 22nd of February 2024. A run-based station wagon survival game. Pacific Drive has had our attention. I'm reading it off the PC Gamer site. Since it's purely on the killer concept, so it does also look pretty cool. Ironwood Studios brought us a new trailer to show off a bit more of its spooky setting and announce the release date. But I believe it's like a rogue. You've basically got to keep the car alive. You have the car.
Basically the idea it's
if you want, Daz, I will if you want. He's egging me on to put on Edith Finch. But yeah, it looks good, that game. It still works the deep. Do you like to look at this, VJ? Is this your kind of thing?
Not really.
Not really. Fair enough.
You should know VJ is very much more of an RPG, tactical, methodical mind. I don't think I've seen any horrific or horror games that VJ plays.
Only the Resident Evil games.
Well, I say Resident Evil, but that's more action, isn't it? That's not really. That's kind of slanting away from the horror. You know, the scary.
You go, Daz, just for you. There we go. Game of your life. What Remains of Edith Finch? Just for you. It's an amazing game, VJ. I haven't played it. What Remains of Edith Finch? What Remains of Edith Finch?
Oh yeah, no, I've completed that game.
Good.
It's amazing, and Daz.
What I liked about the trailer here, it says only on PlayStation.
This is an old trailer.
But it still says only on PlayStation.
But to be fair, it probably was a timed exclusive when it came out on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Is this by the same developer as Edith Finch? Is that what you were trying to?
No, just Daz says, why don't you play the Edith Finch trailer? I said, all right, and I will.
Yeah. Well, why don't you play a Hollow Knight trailer?
No more Hollow Knight. Look, it's going to be out in 2024. Deal with it.
Hang on. I have both of them.
Oh, God.
Hang on, which one?
At this point, you might just go the whole hog and play Gear 6.
There we go. No, what's that? Why is that playing?
What is it?
Hang on, because I've got too many traders playing. Right. Stop that one. Back to Hollow Knight. Just for VJ.
Just kidding. I was just kidding.
Oh, where were we?
I think I'll give Gear 6 a shout along with Removable.
Yeah, Gear 6.
Hang on. There we go.
What was the other one that was going to be announced? Apparently, secretly. What was the other one? It was
announced.
Yeah, was it GTA 6?
Yeah, it's this week, isn't it? The reveal trailer or something.
Yeah.
Is it?
Grand Theft Auto 6. Does anyone actually care about that game or not?
I don't play them. I was going to just ask the question if either of you two play the GTA games. I don't.
I have played all of the GTA games and I've completed all of the
Wow.
GTA games. Whilst they are very fun, they're very good. It's a bit like Red Dead Redemption 2. There was so much that it got to the point it was too much for me to kind of do and spend time on. I'm kind of limited by my times now, but yes, generally GTA is good for experiencing having kind of a game that draws you in. The characters are normally well done. The characters are normally fun to talk to, listen to, experience. They know what they're going to bring out. You know, GTA was good. GTA 5 was, I think, pretty much every GTA has kind of ramped up from the previous GTA. So I think the only thing I'll be intrigued to see is how well the graphic fidelity is going to be on this.
I'm not
Now, I have
expecting it.
heard rumors. No, it's not going to. I estimate it'll probably be very similar to Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of its graphic fidelity. But I have heard rumors, and I'm not going to say how, that the AI, though, is much more developed, is the best way of describing it. There are rumors that, like, when you basically shoplift something, the AI, the NPCs all react so much more dramatically and realistically in this new coming up game. So that'll be intriguing to see how it goes.
Have you played? If you don't mind me asking, have you ever played Sleeping Dogs?
Yes.
So I played through. I have played GTA games, but I just found the combat, the gunplay, and the drivings so much more superior. Well, I say superior. Let's put it this way: to my liking, um, and in Sleeping Dogs versus GTA, I just never seem to meld with the dynamics of GTA's combat. I don't know why.
They are very different. I think, well, definitely Sleeping Dogs combat is it's unique in its own sense. Sleeping Dogs combat was very much hand-to-hand combat was the thing. I think it was, if anything, I think it was hand-to-hand combat was much more the main aim of the game than its shooting was, and so was its driving. Its driving was well.
Yeah,
premise,
really good
where
driving.
GTA is very much, I would say, it's more to do with the social interaction, and I would classify the and a little bit of shooting rather than the fighting. Fighting was just punch, kick. That's it. Where Sleeping Dogs was very much based on the fighting styles and stuff like that. So it's a very, I'd say, very different sort of type of game in that regards.
Yeah, I just found the meld of the fighting combat, which you're quite right. The hand-to-hand combat is really good for the time. Anyway, I haven't played it
Oh, it's
in a while.
still superb today, especially with some of the environmental kills.
I thought,
It's
yeah, no, definitely. I just felt that the
superb.
driving, the driving in terms of how I don't know the best way to describe it, but the way that the vehicles seem to just be more grounded, and definitely being able to sort of jump from vehicle to vehicle was was, was
Well,
was a
that was
component
the Wu
I
Long sort of
exercised more
situation,
often
wasn't
than
it?
not.
It was built around, that sort of premise of, like,
You can like lean out your car and then jump onto the car in front of you along the highway.
exactly. It was built around the Wu Long sort of films where you would usually, as you said, you could just jump from one car to another and get into it. That was how it was. Very much different style of game than GTA. GTA was, I wouldn't say based in realism, but it was based more realistically than anything else.
Yeah. Perhaps.
But yeah, no, it's very, I've enjoyed all of the GTA's, to be honest with you. There isn't some there. I think it's a very good, they are very good games once you get into them, and they're very, very engaging. It's just that, oh, this man of hours to do everything is just phenomenally phenomenal.
How much time did you spend finishing GTA 5? Or how much time did you invest in the game? I should ask you.
It was a lot of time. I'd probably say around 70 to 80 hours, probably more, because it was so much. There's so much there you can do. There is so much there you can do. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption. There is so much there you can do. I still haven't completed Red Dead Redemption because there's so much there to do. That's the problem. I think for me at least, there was too much. It was just too much, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to have to take my own time and slowly jump back into it and do it, sort of thing. But yeah, I think GTA 6 will be a very good. I don't think it will, by any means, but I think it will live up to the premise and hype that it's already receiving. The question's going to be, I don't know. I've just got a gut feeling, it'll be the online aspect to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But it'll be,
And you, Mr. Stubbs? If you
he's
can
too
tear
busy
yourself
watching
away
Gears.
from Gears 6.
See,
Don't tell me
told you, he's too busy playing Gears.
No, he's fallen asleep. He's one of the two.
Well, if you know Stubbs, he doesn't play very well. Anyway, he falls asleep halfway through Gears.
Mr. Stubbs, you must be there still.
He hasn't. He's buggered off. I'll tell you what, he's gone for a poo.
Sometimes there definitely isn't a soft pedal when it comes to the English language with you and Stubbs, is there?
Well, would you prefer he has gone to defecate in his porcelain throne?
He's gone to the ladies' room, or he's gone to the water closet. Ladies' room, yeah. To powder his nose.
Well, the ladies' room can be deemed a variety of different meaningful ways. Ladies' room could be the makeup. It could be the bedroom. It could be the porcelain throne. It could be a variety of different things.
Actually, just something you brought up, and Mr. Stubbs called me just before the show, and he mentioned, I don't know if we're going to switch topics, we might as well, but he mentioned to me your affection for an upcoming video game next year, Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm back.
Yes.
I was making toast.
How was the
There we go.
I'm going to charge you extra. I had to take over as host duties, and I'm not best pleased about it.
I could hear you the whole time. Sorry about that.
While you were taking a moment.
I wasn't. Okay. I was making toast for my son. That was all.
And what about us two?
Toast to send it over to America.
Yeah, we don't get toast. Has anyone actually played Dragon's Dogma, the first one?
I haven't, but I tell you, this one overview trailer looks very good. It does.
Looks incredible. I've got some comments on it, but Removable, you go ahead.
Well, the reason I'm excited. I've played the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. It's, for me, I would classify it as an underrated gem. It was a little bit of a buggy mess when it first came out, but it's one of those things that the more you played it, the more you grew on it, and the more it grew. It had its own charm, and a lot of people I knew, it was a love-hate relationship, because most people are like, I'm never going to play it, don't like it, and then they play it and go, do you know what, I really like it. It was a little bit of, some things were so bad it was good, and some things it was really good in what it did. It's got a bit of a nostalgia thrown to it, and so I'm glad to see that the second one is now coming out. A lot of people have been asking for it, so we'll be interested to see how well it does. Obviously, I'm always a bit dubious of trailers because they all look very flashy, but whilst it may look like it's gameplay, you never know how far it's been tweaked and messed around with and, challenged. So I'm going to hold
I mean, how
Hold
post
my
Christmas?
reserve my judgment till I see the game. Yeah, I would say though at Dragon's Dogma right now you can probably get it for about £3 or £4. The first one, you know,
What on what on Xbox?
I don't know. I suspect it's. I'm sure it's about £3 or £4. It's not. It's not new. Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma's like I don't know. Again, those in the chat might be able to tell me. I'm sure it's around.
I bet you Luke Steele can tell. Welcome Luke Steele to chat. I bet Luke can tell you. I bet you.
When was it? It was Dragon. Was it 2009?
I'll have a look.
See,
Or maybe it just feels a lot older than that.
When I first saw the trailer, when Stubbs mentioned it this morning, I was watching it and I didn't notice it was Dragon Dogma. I saw Dragon's Dogma 5 days ago, whatever, so I clicked on it, and my first reaction was, "Oh, is this what is this what the Deep Down Capcom trailer from 10 years ago has morphed into?" I don't even remember that Deep Down trailer on PS5. Games never materialized. I thought that this is what it evolved
Dragon's
into.
Dogma, Dark Horizon, 15th of January 2016. Very positive on Steam.
Oh, 2016.
28,369 positive, very positive reviews on Steam. It's got, and it's.
It feels.
You are right.
It feels older than what it is.
If I want to
How
buy it
bad
on,
is that?
very true though. If I want to purchase it on Steam, it's currently got 84% off. It's £3.83 at the minute.
There you go.
On Steam.
Soldier.
And sorry, removal. I just wanted to ask you if you'd ever seen that Deep Down trailer.
No, I hadn't at all. No, it is.
It looked very similar to this, and I thought this is what it morphed into. And then when I saw this Talos, the first thing it reminded me of, and I don't even remember the fight on the beach against the Talos in Jason the Argonauts.
Yes, right. Yes,
that?
yes.
And
yeah.
Then I was watching it a little more. I was a 30. Then I thought, okay, Shadow of the Colossus. Then I remember the God of War 2 opening battle with.
Well, this does have a blend of Greek mythology into it. So the very first one does have has a lot of Greek mythology into this. In fact, one of the monsters I can't think what it was called, where it has the.
Oh, this is Deep Down. Sorry.
It has goat. What's the mythological creature? It has goat, lion, and snake or scorpion. It's all melded as one monster.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the actual beasts you fight in the very first game.
It's in God of War as well. God of War 3.
Yes, and it's very much. It has these mythological creatures in it, and it's a really good game. It's one of those games I think. It is undiscovered gem really, and the more people have spent time playing it, the more time people have really gotten to enjoy it and see how good it was. I don't think it did very well at the time, but I do think it did. It did better as time went on.
Comment, and I've come across Dragon's Dogma. No one's got anything bad to say about it. Everything's not positive. But this was Deep Down, so you can perhaps see where my sort of feeble and
a lot of people in the comments of this video have been asking, is this what Dragon's Dogma 2 is? Is it morphed into?
That's what I thought. That, it was just a feeble throwaway. But I'll tell you something else that confused me when I saw it. Some of the gameplay combat in this removable, it reminded me of Crimson Desert, and I thought, hold on, is it the same game or different game? So I did a quick check, and like the animations and the slight sort of blurs that go on, in the combat animations and the VFX. Yeah, it looked really similar to that from that game from Pearl Abyss, another Korean developer, Crimson Desert, and but this game, I always look at the character models, I listen to the voiceovers, and I just get a sense that this is a sort of darker Final Fantasy design, similar to FF8 and 16, I would say, art influence. And so, I mean, of course, it's Capcom, right? So it's rendered spectacularly, right? Very much similar to Resident Evil 8. but obviously this is for next gen only. So as a package, it looks quite phenomenal. But I know what you say. Look, it is a trailer, so let's wait and see what the final game looks like. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely promising. Definitely promising. And
I
I must say, the UI looks outstanding as well.
I would say if you're remotely intrigued by this game, play the first one. It will give you a very good premise of what it is. And I said the first one's cheap now. It is really cheap now. It's not going to be expensive for you to do it. And it's one of those games that I think it was just one of those games that either came out at the wrong time, or maybe it's my historical references going up the span. But I'm sure it's like it wasn't badly received. I don't think it did exceptionally well at the time, and as time has gone on, it's become more of a cult classic. More and more people have found it, more people have played it, and as it's got, and more people have enjoyed it. So it's one of those games that if you've never played the first one, I think, as far as I'm aware of, you'll still be able to play the second one without knowing what's going on. But if you have played the first one, I think you're going to have a lot of nostalgia moments embedded into the second one.
It's 20 quid on Xbox.
I would say if it's 20 quid on Xbox, then it's probably going on Amazon for about 10.
Oh yeah.
Do you know if this game is co-op at all, removable?
Oh God, now you're kind
20
of
quid on PlayStation.
Because I know that Crimson Desert is going to be co-op, right? Up to 4-player or 2 to 4-player, and I know that obviously Divinity is Divinity 2. What I'm playing at the moment is up to 2 to 4-player co-op. But I'm really intrigued to know if Dragon's Dogma 2 is co-op.
Don't know. Stubbs be able to tell us that.
If what's co-op, sorry?
Dragon's Dogma 2, is it co-op?
Oh, right.
I thought it was single player.
I thought
and the question for you, removable, because you've played
it's not co-op. Gone.
Sorry, because you've played the original, and obviously I've only seen bits of it, and obviously I've watched the half-an-hour presentation for Dragon's Dogma 2. But when now that you're seeing the Deep Down trailer or concept trailer, do you think that this has been perhaps, even though Deep Down's not an actual project right now, but is the concept trailer of Deep Down serving as perhaps the foundation of what Dragon's Dogma 2 perhaps may afford us from what you're seeing?
Tough question for me. It's hard. I'm going to go with a bit like Luke Steele here. I think to be honest, you deep down, you're right. I think they're inspired by Dragon's Dogma. I think it was the other one. I think it's that. Definitely, there is some inspiration there. The trouble is these days, you could go back further and further and further, and just basically, everything's kind of inspired by everything else these days.
Correct.
The question's going to be the case of if anything's inspired. The thing with being inspired is, if you're going to be inspired of something, you've got to do it well. And it's going to be the gameplay that will break or tell on itself. And that's the thing that I'm going. That's why I'm hesitant. I'm just like, I'm like.
Does Dragon Dogma 1's gameplay stand up today? I guess the question is. If it does, then obviously they've built on that, correct?
Ooh.
Luke's saying that
I haven't played it for a good couple of years, so I'm thinking my nostalgia is probably going to overtake my actual knowledge here. I'm assuming in my head, I'm saying yes, but then I'm kind of thinking of it logistically and a little bit more, what's the word? Rationally. And because I haven't played it recently, I don't know whether or not it does up to date standard play brilliantly. So I can't tell you. I don't know. My nostalgia probably says yes. Dragon's Dogma will be played just as good when I was playing it years back in 2016.
I know what you mean.
But my brain probably thinks I don't know. Things have probably gotten a lot better since then.
What's the chat's thoughts on BJ's question? Because Luke's saying that Dragon Dogma 2 basically looks like Dragon's Dogma 1, but with better graphics and a more expansive and a more expansive game.
Yeah, for me, it feels like it's a. If that's what I said. I think if you like the first one, they haven't broken anything. They've taken what was there and expanded upon the originality of it, and expanded upon that. I haven't well, we're going to rethink everything. It's not like that's a pretty good. Luke's got a perfect example. It's like how Monster Hunter. Basically, it's like Monster Hunter. They took the basics concept and they just made it better. And I think that's what they've done with Dragon's Dogma. They've taken the basic concept, they know it works, they've made it better, and they're tweaking it to make it,
Hence my question, because you were concerned about the gameplay. That's why. Hence my question is that was the original gameplay still stand up today? If you willing to put in the time and effort, and if it does, then you should potentially err on the side of this game potentially being very good. But it did bring sort of the other game, Crimson Desert's combat into my mind. But obviously I haven't played either game because they're not released.
I think, to be honest with you, it's one of those things. I think when I was playing it at the time, it was one of those games I really enjoyed. Has other games since then done things better, taking those premises, taking those logistical aspects and made it better? Probably 100%. And so my worry is my nostalgia's clouding my mind, if that makes sense. So I'm slightly worried that people will go, oh, they'll go and play it, and they go, oh my god, this is absolutely shit.
Yeah,
it's actually movable. That's a good point you make there. I'm just wondering, like they did with RE8, will they perhaps release a demo early next year? Might be. I don't know if they think that would be valuable.
Would be amazing if they did that. That would be the. Do you know what? We need more demos. I tell you, the demos themselves sell games, and I really wish more developers.
Won't do Suicide Squad any harm.
I tell you what, they really, it's. I know I know why they're not doing it, and I really do know why they're not doing it. It's because demos are a catch-22. If people like the demo, they will buy the game. If there is anything slightly wrong with the demo, it will hinder sales. So it's a catch-22. Do you put it in and ensure that everybody's happy with it and take the risk that no one dislikes it? Or do you just wait until, the game comes out?
That's why these guys get paid the big bucks.
Well,
yeah, it's also your problem is, I can see why, because if like you say a demo or beta comes out or whatever, people that have potentially pre-ordered it don't like it, or there's some big bug, or how the media outlets etc. and YouTubers etc. can be. You have a mass load of cancelled pre-orders as well.
I'm to think of Atlas Fallen. Not Atlas Fallen. What was the other game that did that?
There was one that really got hit hard by it. I can't think what it was called.
It was basically like the Marvel's Avengers game before. It was all robots, flying suit robots.
Oh, I know that one. They thought it was going to be the new Iron Man, didn't they? It wasn't.
That's right. And they did the demo.
EA, what's it called? Oh, what's it?
It's frustrating me now. I can't think of what it's called.
Fly as well.
That's right.
I played it.
A beautiful trailer, didn't it?
What's it called?
That's it. It had that superb trailer that was
Yeah.
nothing like the game.
What was it? I can't think of it. Oh,
That's probably good that we had.
it's
Oh,
EA.
yeah, Anthem.
There
It
we
was
go.
Anthem. Well done, Shizno.
Thanks, Shiz. No, Anthem. That was it. Yeah.
That was a perfect example of demo destroying pre-sales. It literally
Crushed them.
tanked the sales. It tanked the sales. So that's a perfect example of why demos can be the best thing in the world, but also the worst thing in the world. Yeah, so I can understand why they don't do it. I mean, I still would love demos, but to be honest, with you know,
Go for the ankles.
yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's just they just need to. You think about like the old days, back when saves never existed. You got a demo on a disc, it worked.
Yeah.
They made sure that demo on the disc was the best it could be, before, so that people played it was like, yes, I want this game. Nowadays, it's like, oh,
That's
this is
really good.
alpha build, beta build. We'll just whack that on, and that should be enough to get people interested in it. And it's like, no, that's not the case.
Not going to get me started about Gears
Remember,
5.
if
You
this
know.
is co-op, we're going to have to play it.
I don't think Dragon's Dogma 2 is co-op.
I was going to say, you take the left eye and I'll take the right eye.
No, Dragon's Dogma 2 is co-op, isn't it?
No. But if it is, when we fight this Talos bloke, you'll take the left eye and I'll take his right eye.
I'm sure. Is Dragon's Dogma 2 co-op?
No.
I thought I saw.
Divinity Original Sin 2 is up to 4 player. 2 to 4 player.
Yeah, but that's also a very different sort of game, isn't it? That's
I'm just doing some naughty PR for it, that's all.
Yeah, and also you on PlayStation, so it's no good for anyone on Xbox.
You can get it on Xbox, no problem.
Yeah, but you can't do crossplay, can you?
No, I said I can pick it up on Xbox.
Oh, I can see what say, yes.
Along with Gears 6, because Gears 6 will be bundled with it.
So all the articles say
co-op.
no, it's strictly a single player game.
Interesting.
So,
how do you feel about that removable?
well, I think the first one was actually single player, and I still enjoyed it. Yes, would I like co-op? Of course, I would like co-op. I think, some games like this are great to experience co-op wise, but equally, I'm just happy that it's going to come through. A second one's going to come through. To be honest with you, I'm quite happy.
Yeah,
Maybe the third one will do co-op. It's
really
good to have these games come through that are just not remasters anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love remasters and remake games, especially from Night Dive Studios. They are just the pinnacle at doing remasters and remakes excessively well. But I do feel that it's like some new XP is kind of needed. I want to see new games, new stories, new genres portrayed through. And currently, right now, that's only really coming from the indie game scene. God bless them for doing it, but very few that's coming from the the big boys, the big studios. And I think my gut feeling is when IPs, so I said XP previously, IPs, when new IPs are starting to become stagnant and you're seeing studios tightening their belts, what does it say? What does it say? I think we may be hitting a little bit of a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of gaming.
I don't think it's actual. I just think it's sheer fear. They'll waste millions and it won't work. That's what it is. But they should have the passion and drive to make new games. But it's fear, isn't it? It's that they fail. That's what they're scared of, failing. I'm just shut the studio down.
I think they'll worry about failing. I
bet they do. Finances. doesn't pay off, I guarantee it's down to money.
You know, I mean, it depends on how many failures they can handle, isn't it? That's going to be the thing. When you look at Disney films, the amount of recent failures coming out of that blooming thing, Jesus Christ, you know.
What actual failures at the box office?
Oh God, yeah. I don't think there's been, was it since Marvel Endgame? I think most Disney films since Marvel Endgame had failed to meet their targets.
What not? But,
Oh, really?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, they've drastically. I think the latest Marvels is probably the lowest on record in terms of money. I think they're
There's only
saying.
so far you can go with. There's only so far you can go with rinse and repeat, right? Formulas.
This is the thing, and a lot of the stories now are just. I mean, to us, there hasn't been for me. There hasn't been a decent Disney film for ages. You know, there's.
I just think
they're doing live remakes now. Just
My favourite Disney one
horrendous.
it's a Christmas classic. I remember I had the videotape of it when I was a kid. The Muppets Christmas Carol, the original, 1984. That's a classic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, they're doing live remakes now, and they're just getting obliterated. They're doing, you know, terrible some terrible new IPs. You know, they're just doing some horrendously bad films now. And it's the writing. I feel so. It's the writing that seems to be just stagnant, and I don't understand why. Because you look at the Eastern filmmaking, and it is just exploding in terms of stories, in terms of engagement. You know, they are just exploding. Manga, anime, and Korean dramas. You know, a lot of those sort of things are just exploding into the arena and just doing so well. And then you see stuff like, you know, what Marvel's brings out, and you're just like, ugh, it's just a rinse and repeat of, like, you know, of the same story but in a different way of telling it. You know, it's just becoming dry and boring. And that's the thing. I'm starting to wonder if that's starting to see that slightly from the AAA studios. You know, is this stories they're trying to tell drying up? I don't know. It's one of those things. I hope it isn't, but what do you think?
No, I think there's a cycle to all of this removable, and I think the comment that you made earlier, which we've made on this show many times, right, is that whatever's gone in the past begets begets the future, and there are very few luminaries, right, in the industry, and some move on, some stay past their sell by date, right? They are, and people don't move on. I think I've talked about this before, but in Western companies, especially in the States, um, compared to Japanese companies, which build their businesses and their producers, their managers always have an eye or an ethos to build successors and a plan for succession. Where in the US, I find I've found in my time is that people in business try to maintain their position for as long as possible, and any perceived threat to their position, their ability to earn, their ability to command position, power, influence, wealth, they'll do anything to mute it, and that's what I've found the difference between um, Asian and Western cultures. And you only have to look at Nintendo, really, how they've kind of been moving on from Shigeru Miyamoto. Even though he's there, he's not in the capacity that he was when he was in his prompt. But he's often talked about, you know, new producers, new people that will be coming along for the future, and well, they're here now, aren't they? And I think to some degree, the Sony first party studios in the US, they're definitely trying to do it. And I think Corey Barlog over at Santa Monica, right? And well, not him per se, but I think Shannon Studstill, right? How she, none of the God of Wars have been directed by the same director. Just goes to show, right, in terms of how they think progressively. But there's newer directors, there's new risk taking, but for those countries that you just mentioned in Asia that are exploding, to use a word you just mentioned, is the fact that one is that they have their content which is being embraced by um, overseas consumers, shall we say, yourself, myself, and even Stubbs, right?
Hmm.
Studio Ghibli just attained themselves a new huge super fan, right, in Mr. Stubbs,
I need to get
and
back into watching some of them. Actually, yes,
yeah,
you're right.
and I think that that allows for the Asian studios to produce a wider range or more diversified content, take more risk in quotes, so to speak, because they have an audience that are demanding newer content, better content in terms of production values and quantity of content. So hence, all of that talent that's probably been there for a while have now got avenues to express themselves. Can I put it like that? Yeah, I
Hmm.
think expressions the same way why there's so many indie studios that pop up, because they find themselves where they've gone to studios like Naughty Dog or Coalition or whatever. They've understood and they've learned valuable lessons there. Removable. Let's not be coy about it. Like how production actually works. How whether they've got to deal with producers that are line producers that are on their case about where are my assets, where's my deliveries, etc. Um, at the same time, dealing with creative people saying, "Listen, I'm demanding this, this, and this of you," and then you're being dragged from pillar to post. But those are valuable lessons, right, in terms of how big production works. So then, when you do go off on your own, or with your two of your best mates to make your own game, you've got those valuable high lessons under extreme pressure. But now you're able to go away and produce content perhaps you've been planning for years or have had in mind, or want to work in a way where you can go off and express yourself in the way that you think, or the way you feel, or the way you've grasped an idea that you feel totally how can I put it, invested into, right?
Mm.
So because those guys, they can produce their content or release their content within a year or two, right? Where big studios, now, regardless of how big number of people is you can't. It doesn't matter how big your factory is. Your sausage factory, the size of the sausage is always going to be the same. So if you're going to make a $200 million game or $150 million or anything north of 100 million, you're looking at 4 to 5 years and at least 6 months to a year for pre-production, and you're going to have to put at least a year aside for testing and QA, right? To iron out all those bugs, etc., and refine the game so it'll deliver the Metacritic that publishers and platform holders have to have right nowadays. As Mr. Stubbs just said, the risk. It's not that they're fearful or they're afraid, because then they have no point in being in business. I think the
No.
word that you're perhaps looking for is that in the mind of everybody, no matter how big or small your game is that element of doubt. Like, am I on the right track? Is this going to work? And that's just normal. That's just human nature at the end of the day. But I mean, I'm sure there's far more to it than that. I'm just being overly simplistic in the way I'm explaining it. But I will say this though, Removable. Whether you love cinema, whether you love TV shows, or whether you love video games or any types of content, whether you're looking 10 years prior or 10 years into the future, there's always fantastic content that you haven't stumbled upon. I mean, Indie Gamers recommended me games. There's been one or two games that Luke's mentioned. You're constantly recommending me games. I think half the games I played this year because you recommended them. Removable, MechWarrior 5, and Dr. Peter Hodges with Divinity Original Sin 2. And obviously, how can I not mention Gears of 6 via Stubbs Gaming and
Yeah,
EDG?
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
I don't know. I just think there's just a slight stagnant in the Western writing at the moment, and I'm just hoping
Yeah,
that
oh
it'll
yeah,
get another
I think
resurgence.
I think you're right, but I think if you look at who's at the helm, is those are the guys that are driving it ultimately, right? Those are the guys that have the say, right? Saying this is happening, this is not happening, and perhaps that is where they, like you said, you like these particular people. Oh, yeah, I only like FPS games. Well, no, that's the formula. That's got to be kind of the formula or the process that's for all of our projects, right? Which doesn't always work, right? You've got to be open to other kind of creative aspects of production and taking some risks, but it's that risk versus reward.
I
And like
think
you
so.
said,
Yeah, I think I am seeing a mix of blend of genres now, and that seems to be coming through. And that's generally from the indie game scene, where they're just starting to blend a variety of different genres, and they're coming up with some fantastic new IPs and new genres in essence. And I'm just finding the writing itself is just so much more intriguing. And it seems a little stagnant when it comes to the bigger IPs, and as you said, maybe they're just not willing to take more risks, or the people at
I
the
just
helm
think,
are just getting a little bored, or it's a case of, stick with what which is
I
great
remember.
for maybe the first 10 times, but
I remember. I don't know if it was Netflix. They took a producer from HBO, or maybe vice versa. But this lady, um, it was a big thing. I don't know if it was in the news over there, but anyway, a big producer had gone from one major studio to another company, and when they sort of said, this person's known for producing A B C D E F shows, and you could see why she's so sought after, because she's produced everything from a game show to something like, I don't know, something like the Game of Thrones or something like that. Her ability to cross many different ages and styles,
genres, yeah.
genres, yeah, writing style. I mean, there's not many people that I don't know, polymath might not be the right word, but there's not that many people that can turn their hand and understand and know what they're producing across a myriad of creative content. Whereby, when I look at the Marvel, I mean, I stopped watching Marvel movies a very long time ago, because for me, it's almost like one movie, a Spider-Man movie, is not that much different for me than an Iron Man movie, or a Captain America movie, or a Thor movie. And like you say, movie, I just switched off to it, or I prefer to go and watch Asian content. But who knows? Perhaps in the future things will change. But we are in those times. Good. I think it's important to point out we do live in privileged times, though, because you've got the option, if you're willing to search, to find content that will appeal to you.
Oh, without a doubt. And I said this is where indie games have taken over that content in terms of preferred content at this current stage. It's just that I don't want it to. Obviously, I want all industries to increase and do better, regardless. And it just seems at this current stage we're in a bit of a stagnant. We're a bit of a stagnant in the West. We need to kind of it's the East is starting to kind of showcase off some amazing new IPs and new talent and new stories to tell, and it's just
I think from your point of view, removal. I guess from what you've just said, it just triggers something. It's the fact that, well, when their market share starts to feel the pinch because of Asian content, is perhaps when they might wake up.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that'll be the case. Yeah, right. I think that'll be the case. But it is what it is. We're stuck with Stubbs. Whatever we do.
Edith Finch 2. Where's the trailer?
well,
He's seen it too many times.
you'd think I would 100% it, but I haven't.
I have.
Really? It's the
Yeah.
bloody rabbit. You got to eat the rabbit, ain't you? I have to have a look through.
Oh, yeah, with
what
the
I
eagle, you got to capture the rabbit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, capture the rabbit, but I don't. There's certain things I've missed. But yeah, I've not played it in ages.
You can't really be a true Edith Finch fan then.
Clearly, I'm not.
He's the same thing with Gears.
Have you ever tried 100% Gears? Most of the
Yes.
hardcore Gears fans haven't 100%ed it. There's something called Seriously 2.0, and it's like, like do everything on hardcore, get to the top re-up. I'm currently on re-up 12 on Gears 5. So technically, it means I'm for every re-up, it's 100 levels. So technically, it means I'm level 500 currently. If you were to go by that logic.
Wow.
Oh no, sorry, 12. No,
It's a big difference between 12 and 500.
1200. I'm level
Not
1200.
for stubs. Not for stubs.
Oh, I'm shit at maths.
I mean, let's look at. Okay, can you really be a Gears fan if you haven't completed the first game on Insane? Come on.
Oh, fuck, I can't do it on Insane. It's hard enough. It's a hard game compared to Gears 5 and Gears 4. They made them easier. They have.
They have done. Yeah. That was
I
tough.
found Gears 1, or was it Gears 2, really difficult, especially that train, that boss on that train. What Dr.
Sniper
Robotnik
rifle, you got a General Ram.
That's the first one.
General Ram.
No, that's not General Ram. That's Dr. Robotnik in disguise.
They killed him off too quick. That he could have been a villain for a few games. He could have been killed him off too quickly. General.
Yeah,
Ram.
Josh, I think but then it set up other stories which kind of helped it move forward and moved along.
I thought Ram was coming back.
Yeah, it's the insane level for one definitely caused a lot of broken controllers. I heard. It was tough going to get that achievement.
I've got to write something about Gears actually. I've been asked to write what my favourite game ever is for a website.
Gears 7.
Well, we'll see what it is. It's a Gears game. Just got my mind up if it's 1, 2, or 3. It's a hard decision.
No, we know what it is. It's definitely going to be Gears 4.
No, it's definitely not. I can assure you. Nothing beats the original trilogy of Gears of War.
What's the one that's everyone's favourite? What's the can't think of his name now. Is Gears 4? Is it? Yeah, it could be Gears 4.
Yeah, well, VJ just says, "Oh, that old guy's dad."
That old bloke's dad. Yeah,
that's it.
I was going to say
highly offensive.
I'm so sorry.
I'm joking.
I was going to say, I know we're kind of getting up to the 2-hour mark. I just got, and I may be completely wrong here, but I just wanted to pose a question to both of you. You first, Mr. Stubbs, because you don't say much. I just been thinking about the Game Awards, not in terms of the awards themselves, but I'm thinking the amount of content that's been delayed and the amount of content that's being promised for next year. Looking at how quiet first party has been on both sides, including Nintendo, so on 3 sides, I suppose. I just think that this event may have a tremendous amount of fantastic trailers and a plethora of new content to look forward to. That's my feeling, and maybe I'm way out of it.
Hopefully,
see what you guys felt.
Well, Xbox is supposed to be having some surprises, and everyone thinks it's Gears.
It's not.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be Hellblade 2 and a release date.
Let finish Removable. Go on. You go have your say, then let Removable come in.
Because they're all going about like, like Jez Corden was saying that it's definitely not Gears, and someone said, "Oh, he would say that." I said, "No. If he knew what it was, he'd say. He'd break his neck to tell everyone." I said, "It's too early for Gears. I think it'd just be Hellblade 2." And the release date probably for next year, and then probably they could have some new IPs in the works.
From a macro point of view, not from a micro point of view. So you've honed in on a game. I'm just saying, if you look at this year and even the end of last year, look at the content that's been delayed, and look at how many trailers we're seeing potentially for 2024. I just see. My point is that this Game Award show could be one of the very best in terms of trailers for forthcoming content, because I think next year is going to be packed like this year. But I just thought I'd just get a feel from you guys what you felt like in terms of the overall quality of the Game Awards in terms of content we haven't yet experienced. I think it could be a fantastic showcase in general, but I just thought I'd see what you guys felt.
I think, to be honest with you, as I said on Twitter, I think it's going to be completely overshadowed by Scalebound being re-announced. From Scalebound's going to come out and it'll blow out GTA 6. No one will talk about it, and it'll just completely wipe. People will be absolutely turbo hyped when it gets named. But further to your point, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, because you're right. The delays that we've had, so many delays. This would be the perfect opportune moment to showcase off those delayed games, such as Scalebound, and Perfect Dark. You know, there is so many delays that you're very right. It could be one of the best shows coming.
There's
But
been a
I'm
lot of future
dubious.
promise.
I'm just thinking. I think they're going to probably hold that back till next year. I think they're holding it off to. My gut feeling is they're going to probably announce a couple of really good ones, but they're going to leave the biggest, juiciest ones for the big showcase next March and May.
I mean, not here because Thanksgiving's big here, but I mean, to carry on the positive PR, like companies like to do over the next 4 or 5 weeks, especially with Christmas coming up and Christmas. I don't know if I don't know when the Christmas rush is. Is it now or is it at Christmas?
Now,
I don't know what.
now it's the Christmas rush. Yeah,
Okay.
now it's
It's now.
Christmas rush.
So carry on the new PR into the new year, especially with some massive third-party games, right, in the next January, February, and March. And I think Avatar might be a good one as well, which is coming out in a few days. But yeah, no,
I've heard literally to nothing in terms of PR about that game,
no, nor have I. But it's
which
intriguing me more
is
and more.
slightly worrying.
I think it'll be good. So, but yeah, I think over the years we've had so much future promise and so little of it in terms of what we've seen. But I think Stubbs makes a good point, which I wasn't aware of, that Xbox have asked people to tune in for some special announcements, and it'd be really good to see what Nintendo and Sony and all the third parties have got to offer. But yeah, I guess it starts tomorrow, is it? Did someone mention there's a GTA or a rumored GTA 6 trailer tomorrow? It might be Redemption 3, who knows?
Tuesday is the day, yeah. So Tuesday is probably when it's supposed to kind
Luke
of be
was
released.
saying it's in.
Apparently Luke was saying it's just been
It's already.
dropped.
It's already
dropped now.
No, it's not. It's been leaked. It's not been dropped. Someone's leaked
What's
it.
shadow drops, i.e. leaked. It's effectively,
What's been leaked?
The
GTA
the
6.
trailer.
Oh, you're not playing it now. Can you play it?
No, Shadow dropped the trailer. The company's not leaked. The company's not released it. Somebody's leaked it.
What? So to put it in context, why people are hyped for the trailer for GTA's is generally 99.99%. GTA's trailer gives you exactly what the game is going to be like. They don't hype it. They don't tweak it. They don't embellish their trailers. Their trailers are genuinely 99.99%
what you see is what you
the
get.
game you're going to get. So that's why so many people are hyped about their trailers, because they know this is exactly what they're going to get in the game. And so that's why people are a lot more hyped about this trailer. It's it's generally whatever you see, it'll be in the game. It's exactly what you'll be
I
getting.
hope it looks as good as Yakuza.
Well, you'll only be able to find out tomorrow, or you can probably get hold of the trailer and see the leaked trailer tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What's Stubbs? I just want to clarify what you mean by leak. Does that mean it's already available to view online?
Luke said
Accessible
someone.
somewhere.
Luke said someone got hold of the trailer and leaked it. So the company didn't release it. Somebody got hold of the trailer and released it.
Prior to tomorrow's release.
Yes.
Or reveal. Right.
He's saying, look, it looks very technical, graphically impressive. And I was saying, well, it can't be too impressive. It needs to be on the Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PS6, PS7, and all the future Xboxes. Because you've got to wait 10 years for another.
Well, apparently you can see some of the leaked trailer on YouTube right now.
I ain't showing it. I'm not going to put it on screen. I'll get the video will get blocked.
That's all I'm saying is that apparently,
You wonder how these things happen, right?
Security's
well,
terrible.
I think the first one was it the main CEO's son dropped it for likes.
No way.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. So I was like, oh, okay. The main CEO's son, he kind of he got hold of it and dropped it for likes. So there you go. Apart from that, it could easily be, as you said, it could be just someone's dropped it accidentally. Someone's sent over a zip file and the zip file hasn't been secured, and someone's got hold of it that way. There's a variety of different ways to do it. To be honest with you, it's going to be
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what it is, but again, it's we'll see what happens. Let's hope it's good. But at the end of the day, there's plenty other games out there all ready for us.
There is, I'm sure.
I don't play GTA, so yeah.
BMG's excited, but he was hoping for. He said he was hoping for another remaster of GTA 5 before it came out. He's bought every other version. He wants a version. He said he wants a version of GTA 5 on the next gen. So we want PS6. He wants a copy on, or he'll buy it on there as well. But
That's a little extreme. Personally, I thought
more
his
of it is-
tastes were
it's-
more aligned with Sonic.
He does not like Sonic at all.
He loves Sonic. He just says that.
That's a game I'd like to. Did you manage to pick it up? Superstars, Sonic Superstars, or
My brother's got it for me for Christmas.
it's the price a bit. You see, it's quite expensive, isn't it?
Sorry, what
He
was that
actually got it on
removable?
He got it on Black Friday for £35.
I seen
was
that,
that
and I just thought it was too much. That's it.
Sorry, what was that? What game was that removable?
The one on screen
Sonic
now.
Superstars, the new Sonic game. I played it at the demo, and I was at so I played demo when I was at EGX, and I absolutely loved it. It was the first time I'd actually felt as if they brought back a Sonic game that was actually a Sonic game, if that makes sense.
Once they managed to get Yuji Naka to exit, right? His indiscretions.
Don't know.
Do you know what he's done? Removable. Been
No, I don't. To be honest with you.
so much to do
Oh,
with
come
trading.
on! Don't ruin it for him. It's his cult hero, and now you're going to crush him.
Oh, I won't say it then.
Not really. No, I'm generally I'm not one of these
Go
people
ahead. I was just kidding.
who cares about the creators versus the art. I'm very much can separate both. What's he done?
It's not one. Yeah. What's he done? Remove Stubbs.
I think it's something to do with insider trading. Something to do with that, along the lines of that.
Oh no, I
Oh,
did
yeah.
hear about something like that.
Something to do with
Yeah,
that. It was. He had to pay a massive
He
fine as well.
See, that's how much faith he had in Sonic. He knew he had to get in a few shares before the game was announced. sorry, Riverwalk. Sorry to make light.
to be honest with you, let's face it. Our politicians do it. What makes you think he's not going to do the same thing?
Everybody's up to it. Come on, everybody.
Exactly. Everybody's up there in
Those
some
exec
regard.
court and made an example of, right? That Alain Bast did, right? So
Exactly. My gut feeling is
no pariahs. It does look great.
all I know
remember
is the game when I was playing it, it brought back nostalgia for me, and that was something I didn't expect to see from a Sonic game, especially the last recent iterations. They've just been dire. They've been dire in every bloody way, and it's like honestly, as a Sonic fan, Sonic games, there hasn't been much to celebrate. Let's put it this way. And so to finally have a game that actually does provide you with some decent Sonic gameplay, I was like, I'm happy with it. In fact, and also it can be played 4 player as well, so the kids will be playing with me as well.
Oh,
I'm kind of yeah, I'm happy about that. The demo show got me into it, and as I said, it's on a deal for Black Friday, so cheap, cheerful, and enjoyable. Stubbs is now looking at YouTube trying to find the GTA trailer.
No, I'm not. No, I will after. I want to see if it looks. I'm not actually interested, but I thought I might as well look because I just thought GTA 6 would be just GTA Online, and that'll be it.
There will be a GTA Online. Trust me, that will actually happen as well. But the biggest thing for GTA was always its single player story.
We'll have to see if they
It's
are the company they used to be, because they're more about getting as much cash as they can out of people, than rather than providing a quality game. But
well, you think about it, the games themselves. You think of GTA 5. GTA 5 still providing them with cash.
it is definitely, and
That
using
is,
that tax loophole that Scotland provide.
that is should tell
Actually,
you
is
what it is.
GTA 6 made at Rockstar North or Rockstar South or both? GTA 5 was made at Rockstar North in Scotland, and they
Don't
used
know.
it. A lot of
I think-
companies, if you look into loopholes in Scotland, a lot of big game publishers use the loopholes in Scotland's tax breaks when it shouldn't be. There was a Guardian a few years ago. The Guardian did an investigation. They're not technically breaking the law, but they're dodging around it, loopholes.
No, it's always going
use
to be
it.
some loophole. Trust me, there's going to be it's always going to be some loophole.
I think, but Scotland for Rockstar has always been their sort of head of production. You know, they're out there where all the key leads are, and I think that predominantly, like any major game, any game, whether it's from a third party, other than any other, the outsourcing can be done to any number of its internal studio, or to you know, or to a huge amount of outsourcing to Singapore, which I think is a primary now, even above China in terms of resource. And your outsourcing can actually, for a period of time, for production, full production, can the volume of people that you've got on outsourcing can outstrip what you've got resources in terms of internally. So, but I think Rockstar, it's not like they set up shop there for one game. They've been there for a good, what? I mean, Roval, you should know, 20 odd years. So, but I agree with
A
Stubbs
little
in
bit
the sense-
longer than that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pulling a number out of my proverbial backside there, but that's why I asked to sort of fact check it with you. Is the fact that, and that's why Ubisoft and EA and even Haven, Sony's studio, set up in Canada, because they have very, very similar um, um, tax rebate programs, and also what do they call, grants?
Exactly.
Development grants, was it, Mr. Stubbs? Yeah.
Tax breaks, but the problem is though, the UK keeps saying
Basically to help fund development. Yeah.
they want to be Silicon Valley, but until they offer these nice big tax breaks, etc., the big companies won't be attracted to the UK. But Scotland offer them. I don't know if I'm sure they still offer it. I might be wrong, but
Yeah.
they would have moved Rockstar North.
Yeah, the thing is, I remember this. The thing is, the whole of the development fund can be. It doesn't matter where you spend the money. It's based on where the game's fundamentally being developed. And I think for Rockstar, like you say, in Scotland or in Canada, but they can actually, pay people outside of those countries, but still record it in their books as in, this was the development cost for this game. But it may be the other way around. It may be, hey, no, it can only be attributed to the costs incurred within the realms of where they're providing, which government, in terms of government state that they're employing all the resource. Something that Luke might know actually, but it's not difficult to find out. You can just check online.
Yeah. Stubbs has gone to sleep again.
No, I'm still here. Thought I'd give you a chance to jump in. Removable.
No. We'd be here for another 3 hours.
That is true. So yeah, been a fun show getting back into the swing of things. It's been enjoyable. I have missed it. I have having a chat with you two. It's always good to have a good chat with my friends about gaming. And the
I mean, like the Luftwaffe miss Big Ben.
He is.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. And can you tell people, well, VJ, thanks for coming on, VJ. I won't ask you where the people can find you because you'll tell them where to go.
Yeah, go to Rutland.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, VJ.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel really rusty actually.
It's been a few weeks. It has.
It's been a while, and not really used to it, to be honest with you. But no, it was good to chat with both of you over the weekend while we were playing Suicide Squad.
It was.
Which I thought should get a couple of minutes of
That's the only thing we can say about
that
as under NDAs.
That's all we can say, VJ. That's it. That's all we can say.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, that was
I
great.
I dive in there just in case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good actually because I completely forgotten.
I knew we were jumping quickly. You're not affecting my status. I'm not getting into trouble because of you.
Yeah, no, it was good to catch up, and it's good to see Sonic here as well. And I'm going to get back to playing Divinity Original Sin 2.
Nice. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. And
which was a crowd-funded game, by the way.
Was it?
It was. It was indeed.
Nice. But yeah, thanks for coming on. And Removal Sanity, thanks for coming on. I'm sure you'd love to tell people where they can find you as well.
Oh, it's only if they're really desperate. Trust me. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Minds, Rumble, and Odyssey under the name Ruru Sanity. I'm also under Xbox under Ruru Sanity as well. So feel free to give me a shout in any one of those platforms, and I'm sure we can always have a little bit of a laugh.
Most definitely. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. You can find me on the platform X or Twitter at stubzgaming, on YouTube at stubzgaming. You can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically most of the podcast platforms. You can. We're on the majority of them. Good pods as well. There are loads of them. But yeah, Spotify. We've got some listeners in a few countries on a Gaming Conversation with Friends podcast Wrapped. We have. It's interesting. Hopefully we'll have more next year. I'm still getting, despite the fact I've only done 3 Stubscasts this year, the show on the Stubscast on Spotify is still growing. Australia apparently was the #1 country, and some reason, don't ask me. The show, I've done 3 episodes this year. The show, people are still listening to the Stubscast, even on Spotify, and it's still growing.
It's the sexy English voice that you're giving away.
Well, the top episode, according to Spotify this year, I messaged Tom Wild to tell him on WhatsApp, and he was quite shocked. It came up as his episode, first ever Stubscast, was his episode. So people still are liking the Stubscast show. But yeah, people are liking the Gaming Conversation with Friends on podcast networks as well. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and liking them.
If we keep this up, we might be able to go public on the footsie.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right, and thanks everyone, and we'll see you next Monday.
Have a good one.